it's Kat at Kattalestv. I'm doing this video. I'm getting ready to leave the beach. I just want to share this with you. I've talked to several men, unfortunately, over the last couple of days, and just one of them actually asked me about why or who I was voting for, but the other two, I asked them. But it's kind of disturbing that at least one for sure is voting for Trump, and two, one is voting for some third candidate who I never heard of, some guy named Supreme. I mean, he's taking it as a joke. And the third was blaming both candidates for talking bad about each other, and he stated that neither one of them talked about policy or what they were going to do. And I thought that was odd, because I could have distinctly remember hearing Kamala speak about changing the laws on price gouging. One of them has daughters, and I try to explain to him what Tim Walz did, I believe as governor, making sure that all students were fed who were going to, school, and they had sanitary products for girls in his schools. And I think, as a girl who remembered having my period start and not knowing what it was and bleeding all over myself, I think that was an amazing, insightful, caring thing that Tim Walz did. That's not the reason why I'm voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There's a lot of reasons. I want equal justice for criminals, no matter how rich they are. But also, I want a kinder America, and I want something that's more inclusive, and I'm not comfortable with the known rapist running this country, as well as a treasonous person who stole documents, a person who's trying to promote the January 6th insurrectionists and probably will pardon them. I don't know how to explain it. It's fascinating, but it's also heartbreaking. But people have the right to pick who they want to pick. But a lot of men that you know may be voting for Trump. I just want you guys and ladies to know that. If you're a person who, cares about democracy, even though it's not perfect. I'm a black person in America. I know democracy isn't perfect. And my family, my father and my grandfather served this country under very uncomfortable circumstances. So all I'm trying to say is, I want the best for America, even if I don't agree with everything a person says or what they did. However, I think there's a big difference in Kamala Harris's resume and Tim Walz's resume, and how they respect veterans, as opposed to Donald Trump, who literally has failed businesses all of his life. His daddy gave him money. He was sued for Trump University. He's got a $300 million suit against him that he lost. Well, in other words, they're charging him $300 for libel against, what's her name? E.G. Carroll, or I'm sorry, the woman that he raped. So he's got to pay $300 million on that. There's a bunch of cases in Florida, the stolen documents case, and you got the case in Atlanta, or Georgia. I'm sorry, not Atlanta, but it's the point I'm trying to say is, and I need water, don't be dehydrated, sorry, is that you can't even have conversations with people. I don't know. They don't care, even if they have daughters, that like good things that Tim Walz did that shows the character of his person. They don't care that the Republicans consistently pick Trump, who degrades women, who jokes about raping them, assaulting them. He makes fun of disabled people. But they see them as equal. I don't understand. However, I'm sharing this with you so nobody takes for granted this election. There are people who are voting for a third candidate that nobody knows just because they can. Democracy doesn't matter to them. They take it very lightly. White boys can do that, I guess. They have the luxury of doing things that don't make sense and getting away with it. Again, I'm telling you this so you don't take it for granted and you have conversations with people. But I'm not trying to change what they're going to do. They're going to do. But it also shows their character of a man. If a man would vote for a known rapist and a person who's got so many lawsuits against him and says that Kamala doesn't have a resume. I mean, I think there's stupidity in that, and there's misogyny in that if they think that Trump is equal to Kamala. Trump was a fucking reality TV star created by Mark Burnett. And I have a video that I'll link to show you that video where I asked Mark Burnett about Trump years ago. But long story short, Mark Burnett wanted Putin for a reality show. And if you don't know who Mark Burnett's the producer who created things like Survivor and I believe Big Brother and a couple of other things. He's the godfather or the grandfather of reality shows, which is a very fascinating thing about watching people, recording everything they do. It's kind of a psyop. You know what I'm saying when you really think about it? But long story short, he wanted Putin originally. Putin told him, look, dude, I'm busy running Russia. So he got Trump instead, and Trump was a failed businessman. The casino, multiple businesses failed. He used a lot of illegal immigrants to build Trump Tower, or let's say undocumented from other countries. And he paid him like $2 and they slept on the ground of Trump Tower. You can all research this. But again, a lot of these guys just don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like you can have a friend and then I've had people that I knew who like years ago told me they were voting for Trump. And I was taken aback because I just didn't understand. But one woman, when I was in New York, I saw her and I was like, oh my God, Steven Spielberg is doing West Side Story. You should try to work on the show because he wants Puerto Ricans. And she had beautiful white hair. And so I helped her work on the show as background, whatever. I think I photographed her for free and I gave her the pictures. And then I worked like one day on the show. I threw my picture in there not knowing I was going to get picked, and I got picked, but I had to have my hair flat ironed, and she flat ironed my hair. And when I went over her place, literally she was blaring Fox News. Like when I say decibel loud, I'm talking decibel loud. And I was taken aback and I was like, can you turn that down? And then she started screaming about, don't tell me what to do. I love listening to this. Da, 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 da. And it turns out she was a huge Trump fan. And that was the end of our friendship. But all I can say is I think they literally tap into a frequency of rage and anger and fuck you kind of a frequency where people that have been wronged, they use Trump as their god to vent and to act like children. But I don't like it. The same thing happened when I was working on the Tory Lanez case. There was people that I was working with on trying to figure out a way to help Tory and get the story out about Tory being innocent. And they were always talking about, I gotta close this window, sorry. They were always talking about fucking Trump. It got so bad I had to say to them, hey, look, when we're trying to help Tory, don't bring up Trump, because I'm here for Tory. I'm not here to have conversations. It was almost like it was, I don't know, it was like mental torture, but my whole thing is there's priorities. If someone's looking at jail time for 10 years and you investigate and there's no evidence and you're trying to figure out a way to let the people that are fans of his, as well as people who don't know the story, like combine forces and figure out a plan to get the word out. And all they a lot of the time when you're having that discussion, they're interrupting and talking about fucking Trump. When I say you, I'm talking about me. What people don't realize, I'm a real reporter, a real journalist, a real photographer. I went to fucking New York. I shot Jeffrey Epstein's house right when he died. I shot the hospital when his body was there. I know about Howard Ludwig, who's next door to Jeffrey Epstein, who does fundraisers for Trump. So I know stuff that average people won't know because I've had to do research, right? So when, again, you're trying to help someone get the word out that they're innocent and possibly trying to help save their life, and you've got people wasting time like throwing daggers and talking about Trump when you're trying to do a greater good, I just think it's crazy. So I don't have time for it. But I want you guys and ladies to know, don't assume Kamala is going to win and that your vote doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. One of the guys says, he goes, my vote doesn't matter. So he's going to vote for Trump. But it's I don't know. It's kind of like a no-brainer, and also a kind of thing where you don't want to hang out with people that are okay with the person that brags about raping women. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be doing business with people like that when you get down to it. You don't want to be like friends with people like that, to be honest with you. When you really think about it. I know we don't know every little thing that everyone does, but Trump puts most of the shit that he does out there so you can see it. So I just want you to realize what's going on. This election is important. The thing that sucks about life sometimes is that when you care about things, you realize a lot of people don't. They don't care about democracy. They don't care that Trump said he's going to be a dictator day one. They don't care that he tried to kill Pence. They don't care about the insurrection. They don't care that he stole documents that hurt national security. They just don't care. But I do. And I hope you do too. So vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you. Bye.